All right, continuation of interview of my father. This is second day here. Still in Norristown when you were young. All right, so tell me a little bit about when you first started going to school there when you
Well,
were
the
young.
school I went to was up north of a little town called Worcester. And that school only went as far as the 10th
I'm
grade.
trying to make sure that
So
Elm doesn't trick
the
me.
bus would take me up there, and I would go to school there, and the bus would bring me back. Uh, but after finishing the 10th grade, which was equivalent only to junior high school, to get a high school diploma, I would have to finish senior high school, the final 2 years. And
Was the school pretty far from your house?
from at Worcester, that was about maybe 8 miles north of where I lived.
How did you get there?
Oh, the school bus would come pick me up and take me there, and then the school bus would bring me home too.
Were school buses yellow back then?
Oh yeah. So getting then the final 2 years meant going into Norristown itself, which is about 15 miles
I'm
away.
going to be back right now.
And I would have to go where this trolley, high-speed trolley, would Allentown, Pennsylvania, into Norristown and into Philadelphia. So there was a station there at what was called Center Square. So I would have to ride my bicycle down there and leave my bicycle at the home of my scoutmaster, and then catch this high-speed trolley. So I usually had it pretty closely timed. I'd be able to look across the fields and see that trolley coming, and I had to pedal faster and faster to get to the house, scoutmaster's house, and drop the bicycle and run like mad to catch the trolley as it pulled in the station.
Was it a trolley kind of like they have in San Francisco?
Uh, no, it was a big, almost like an electric train. It was a fast-going trolley. It would go 50, 60 miles an hour.
Hmm.
So and it was a modern train, but it was such that it'd be going such speed that if there were a wreck, it would be real damage. The girl I used to know when I was at the university, she was still going to school there. And the trolley had a collision with a freight train, and then she lost her leg, and her name was Naomi.
Yeah, you met her sometime afterwards, right? Like
Yeah.
the gentleman.
Dad, I just want to eat my treasure.
So this was I completed my 2 years
Why don't you go to mommy?
in Norristown and got my diploma. But I knew I wanted to go to university eventually, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to study. I like outdoors and forestry, but I wasn't aware of what I could make a career out of that. So that's when I took a summer off or a year off and worked with the office of a local forestry office. And that experience and talking to that professional forester, then I realized that maybe forestry is a type of career I could make out of my
I
legs.
really hate this.
So tell me what would be like a Christmas like when you were a kid there.
Well, it was out in the country, and so just be the family Christmas. Not other relatives and other kids were not there,
Open wide.
so it was just have a tree which we would balls on, and as a little kid, folks would decorate the tree and have an electric train, and then they'd wake me up and I'd come down and see what Santa Claus had left.
Did you go to church service much when you were young?
Yeah, just up the road from us it was an old historical church. It was called Bethel Hill. It was a Episcopal church, not Episcopal, but Methodist church.
All right.
And so my folks were very religious, and every Sunday we would go to Sunday school and church too, and maybe even prayer meeting in the evening. And so I eventually got tired of the whole day devoted to some kind of a service. And but eventually I got a job. They needed somebody to take care of the heating in there, so I'd get up there early and go down there and shovel coal in the furnace in order to get the place heated up.
So when you were young, your grandparents, do you have much memory of them, or did you visit some of them?
They lived down in Snow Hill, Maryland.
That's where your family originally was from.
Yeah, and so the only time I'd see them was once a year we'd take a vacation and go down and visit family there.
Well, tell me how that was.
Oh, we had an old Model A Ford, and we'd get it there and go to drive south. And then this was out in the country. It wasn't a townhouse at all.
Probably took a few days to get down there, right?
Oh no,
One day?
One whole day you get there. So you'd drive back to these forest roads, and there'd be sandy roads, no blacktop, and then there'd come an opening in the forest, and here's the old homestead where my grandparents were living. So he had some cattle and growing corn and crops there.
What was your granddad's name?
His name was Willard too.
Oh, and your grandmother's name?
My grandmother's name was let's see, I forget her name.
Is now your father? He had like lots of brothers. I remember, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
one
I
sister.
guess there were about total about 10 brothers.
Yeah, I saw a photo like Olin, and so I
Oh, yeah.
remember Olin and.
Yeah, they were all there. We'd go down there. We'd visit not only my grandparents, but also visit all these other uncles and aunts.
Mm.
It was a pretty close-knit family, and all living in that general area. And they had usually most of them had farms and or had been farmers and retired from farming.
What about grandparents on your mother's side? That'd be Shockley, right?
Yeah,
So,
the Shockley.
where were they from?
Well, they were from that general area too, but their family was much smaller than the Carmean family. There were a few of those around, which I would visit them. But my grandmother had been the second wife of Shockley, so he'd been in the Civil War, and so I think he was with the southern side with the cavalry there, and he was the general at Maddox Courthouse at the end. So his wife had died, and so he remarried a younger, that was my mother. So there were some older uncles and aunts, but we didn't visit them very much. But then my mother and I think there was another uncle there at her age too.
Did you see any of your grandparents on your mom's side ever, or they already passed away?
Yeah, there were a few of them around.
Oh, so you saw the fellow that was in the Civil War?
Oh no, he was dead by the time.
All right.
He'd been dead for quite a while. Because he was quite a bit older than
But when you were growing up and you'd go to parades and stuff, there were still a few Civil War vets still
yeah.
kicking around, right?
Oh yeah, not only down in Maryland, but also up around Norristown too. That church we had, Methodist Church, they'd have celebrate 4th of July and all, and so they'd bring out some of these old Civil War veterans that be in their own uniforms and church there was an important church during the Revolutionary War because there were big battles between the British and Americans at Germantown, and so the Americans were defeated there, and so there was a lot of refugees from that battle, and so that church had actually been used as a small hospital, and so a lot of these patients there had died, and so there was a mass grave there of casualties from the Revolutionary War.
So did they have like circuses come to town when you were young, like or fairs? Like what were those like when you were?
They would usually be around Norristown, and so people would come from miles around to see the circus.
What do you remember about those when you were?
Oh, it was a big top there, and they were Barnum and Bailey, Ringling Brothers.
Would they come by train?
Yeah, they'd come by train, and these animals would be on the train, and elephants and all that. And so they had marched around, and it was a big do.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. What you remember seeing and how did it look?
They had a whole team of workers there. That first thing I had to do as soon as I got there was put up the big top.
So you'd go out and look at this happening, or?
Oh yeah, well, you go there once everything was open.
Oh, but
so you wouldn't go watching it there, because you lived out in the country ways, so you wouldn't go in there just casually watch it. You come when the circus was actually performing. So there'd be all kinds of performance in the big top, but also the sideshows there.
tell me what you remember seeing.
Oh, there'd be women with beards and dwarfs and fat persons first I'd see that. So these are weird people that had physical handicaps, you see.
Yeah, yeah.
Those days, that would be an asset. That they didn't have much Social Security help, so they'd make a little money out of displaying their handicap.
No, some people say that like the 20s and 30s was like the golden era of that kind of traveling circus. So that would. So, did you listen? Did you and your family listen to the radio much when you were young? Back in the evening.
Some. It was an old radios. Just the reception was not very good. You'd have it's called Atwater Kent. So it had a crystal type of reception. So you could hear a few things, but it wasn't very clear. There's a few things like shows like Amos and Andy, everybody would listen in on that. These are black performers,
Yeah.
and they would be telling jokes and so on.
What about music?
Oh, not much music.
It's church music. Oh.
Didn't have we had a big troll where
It's starting to rain.
Okay, well, go on. Let me let you.
you'd have a big troll in there where you'd crank it up by hand, and you'd have these vinyl discs, and you put that on there. And there were a few discs with church music, and then a few
All right, let's stop this.
few things. I think we remember one Crusoe, who was a famous